Hello, it's Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Friday afternoon slash evening Zoom edition. Finally a red day. Last, I think 2 or 3 of my Zoom calls, we were basking in the glory of newer highs. And at the moment, we're a little retrace, about 10% down from the highs we had on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's go to the chart and check it out. Okay, should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yes.
Thank you. And as we discussed, I believe on Monday or last Friday, I've added the Fibonacci retracement extension. Yes. And I went over in some detail how I applied this. This is looking for Bitcoin's trying to evaluate a potential new high of around 85K, but that's not what's on everyone's mind. What we're thinking about is this move here down about 10% and reclaim not quite half of that, down 4.3% for the day on Bitcoin. This is, of course, dragged down most of the rest of the altcoins here on my Bybit Binance list. So, but what do we do with dips? We buy the dips. So it's good to see some of this action. I had a couple shorts going on for protection. I got out of those. I'm still in a couple. So, I like to trade the markets both ways at least on my day trading. On my swing trading, not as much, but I usually keep 1 or 2 short positions just in case this kind of thing happens. So, but if you are, fairly new to day trading and swing trading and you're trading spot on Coinbase or Kraken, so, the dips are when you like to get in, especially on your swing trades and add to those positions that they've gone against you. What I call ladder buying, which is a great way to save trades that dip during the bull run. In a bear run, we approach that a little differently, but for now, I do recommend the ladder buying approach over the stop loss approach. But you have to figure out what your risk tolerance is and function accordingly. Now that, and I want to rant on one more thing too. Because I was just with somebody about an hour ago, and she told me a story of how she bought a fairly new altcoin. It shot up and she was up multiple X, but didn't sell any. And then it crashed and she was still holding the bag. So no matter what you have a bag in, whether it's something as senior as Bitcoin or Ethereum, or if it's definitely if it's a new altcoin, when you double your position, I highly recommend to sell half of it, get your money back, and then take profits as that coin goes up. Take partial profits. That way, you're not feeling foolish when the ultimate crash hits. So
I can relate to last bull run, that's for sure.
yeah. Terry and I were talking a little bit about this before the recording. So, but yeah, if you have the opportunity to take out,
I'm recording now. Do you hear me?
Linnell, I'm hearing you out of nowhere. Do you need to say something? Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. I think that was unintentional. Okay, so let me give an example. I may have given this one of my past Zoom calls. I was fortunate to have bought a bag of Solana at $20 last year. And when it hit 50 or 60, I actually waited a little too long. I sold enough of a position to get my initial investment back. And now I'm on house money for the rest of the bull run. It's gone up to 180. That's probably more luck than skill on my part, but at least I had the discipline to get my money out. So if it does crash and burn down to $20 again or 10 or 8, then I won't have that awful feeling of holding too long. So it's not a great example, but it's the best one I could think of, and that was personal. So remember, guys, don't be afraid to take profits. And I got to tell you, the feeling of not taking a profit and having the coin crash is worse than taking profit and then have it shoot up. So anyway, there's my 2 cents for whatever that's worth. Let's get back to the charts, unless anybody has something to add on that topic. Okay. So that was Bitcoin's chart. This is Ethereum, and we have not hit an all-time high yet on this. I think it's around 4,800. So I drew a zone up here starting at 4,300. We did break 4,000, closed above it a couple times, but now we're heading back towards what I think is the top of the prior low zone around 3,500. Wouldn't surprise me if we hit that and then bounced up. We had the Denkun upgrade on the 13th a couple days ago, and there might have been a little bit of buy the rumor, sell the news going on with that. But anyway, it's supposed to lower fees on at least the layer 2 options. I hope it lowers them on Ethereum as well. I want to do some cashing out this weekend, and if Ethereum is working reasonably well and the fees aren't too high, I'll just use that, but we'll see. Okay, any questions on Bitcoin and Ethereum overall before we look for some trades in Altcoin Alert? Okay. Let's see what we can find in Altcoin Alert. I'm going to be looking for day trades and swing trades. So I'm on the altcoin radar setting as opposed to the dashboard. I want all the columns of information in front of me. I'm going to reload, get the most current information. And then my first sort is usually the AA score. I'm looking for values 80 and higher, but I'll fudge a little in the high 70s, 78, 79, especially if I see something I like, which I do. I like Didix. I trade this a lot as a day trade. It does a lot of this kind of movement, which is what I'm looking for. I got the chart handy. Let's check it out. I'll take a quick look at the 5-minute chart, see if we're in a 1, 2, 3 dip situation, kind of like this. I wanted to point this out. Now, we talk a lot about the 1, 2, 3 dip that iCoin Pro teaches. That's something I talk about on Mondays. But yeah, this is a setup, but this is more of a bull run setup. So we've got the squeeze here, and then the Bollinger Bands bubble out. There's a hard drop. There's a first dip, then this green candle comes up, kind of nudges above the Bollinger Band and drops again. So that's a second drop, but we never get a third drop. So that's one of the reasons I like my RTI approach a little bit better than looking for these on the 5-minute chart. And with the RTI, you can also put an alert on it. I'll show you that in a moment. But for this particular setup on the 5-minute, you can do a price alert down here in the green zone around 353, 354. That's easy to do. Just right click over here, add an alert, and that should come up. Let's try that again. Oh, there it is. It's a little slow. And I usually use the information source for the alert name. And if you type it enough times, TradingView will remember it. So if I type in AA score, yeah, it's going to be there. So I'll click that. Notifications, notify an app on my phone, pop up on my computer screen and play a sound. Those are the 3 notifications I use. And this one, let's use 3 notes reverb. Click create, and that's how you do that. But as you know, if you've been with me for very long at all, I prefer alerts on indicators on the 15-minute chart. So you see the same dip sequence right about here, right about the same time. Once it breaks above the 20, so it breaks below the 20 here. Use that vertical line. So we get the break here, and then it doesn't come up again above the 20 on the RTI till about here. And so this would be my entry on this coin right about here. And I see some short-term resistance here around 3.5%. And so that would be my take profit. And I get that about 7 hours later. That's a really good day trade. I'm an experienced trader, so I would probably be on 10x leverage on this. Most of my day trades I'm going for 1.3% movement on the chart times 10x leverage is 13%. So I like piling up those 13% wins, throughout the week. And if you do that on a leverage account, you can do very well. Even on a spot account, going up, say 1, 2, 3%. If you pile those up throughout the week, you can your balance will grow pretty quickly. So
CJ, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Previously, you had mentioned something about on the second or third dip on the RTI under the 20, to wait for that second or third dip. What are you referring to there?
Right. Yeah, you're kind of mixing up two different approaches where, yeah, like you'll notice here, show this area here, how it's just kind of putzing around the 20, not really making a move. So sometimes I find if this goes off on my phone and I'm not near my computer, I want to trade, I'll often ignore that and I'll wait for a second one, which would have happened right about here. And then I still get the same entry, maybe even a little bit better. So, but you might lose out if the bull market's pumping, the retraces are going to be fewer and fewer. So there's nothing wrong with getting in at a smaller amount, maybe holding some funds back so you can buy a second position on a ladder buy or dollar cost average. But that's what I meant on the second dip on the RTI is a lot of times you can get a better entry if it dips more than once.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. Okay, so how do you do an alert on this? It's really easy. Right click on the RTI, add an alert. And I'm going to use crossing up on the 20. Once per bar close, we'll leave it on until you turn it off. And that's an AA score. And my notification is going to look like that. But I'm going to do a little different notification on this because that setup you can do on the 20. You can also do another one on the 50 and even on the 80. So 20, 50, and 80 are some of the most common directional or trend-based alerts. I'll also be looking at the cumulative delta on a 50 or an 80 alert to confirm. But my favorite alert to do on the RTI is this one. This is entering a channel. I'm trading this both directions on leverage. So if it breaks above the 80 and comes back, I can consider a short. If it breaks below the 20 and comes back, I can contemplate a long trade. And then this is a real alert. This one I'm actually going to set. And we'll go chirpy. And click create. And this one's ready. So if this dips below the 20 again and comes back up, that would be a long position for me. If it shoots up above the 80 like this, here's an example of a shot above the 80 and then dip back down. And you can see, the entry would be right about here. And that's a 1.6% move in 4 hours. In my usual day trading approach, that would be I probably get out the 1.3 and 13%. Love piling those up. So, and then here's the approach. Here's a fake out approach. I'll show you this one too. So this one breaks right above here. And oh no, it goes against me. I probably do 2 additional purchases in this scenario. And then when it gets back up here, my first positions break even, but then my second and third positions are in some really nice profits. And that takes 5 hours. So that's a purchase that goes against me plus 2 ladder buys. And I often make more money on those because I have more money in those trades. So that's one example. Obviously this would have been the better entry right here, but there's a second one. I probably would have, had I not gotten in on this one, I would have gotten in on this one, and then it does go against me, but I do recover with the ladder buying approach. Okay, any questions on Didix before we'll look at one more day trade, and then we'll do some swing trade sorts as well. Okay, so there's two other day trading sorts I like to do. The short-term sentiment. This is what people are talking about on Twitter. We're going to match that up with the Elder Impulse hourly. But there aren't that many bullish ones. Got 10 bullish ones here on the Elder, 17 on the short-term sentiment. Let's see if we get any matches. And we do not. So I also will sort the opposite way. Got 20 shorts and 180 on the hourly. So I'm getting a very bearish on Filecoin, which the CryptNation guys were talking about on Thursday. Render has been really good lately. SLP I trade sometimes. Near has been good, but it really took a dump today, 16%. Sushi, occasionally I trade that one. So let's look at Filecoin as a day trade. And even though it's showing it being negative for the day, you can see multiple times it's hit this green zone and bounced up. These can be some nice day trades. If you catch this move here, it goes up 3.5%. Here's a little bit better example. It breaks up twice here. So the second one, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to go. Well, it goes against me. But I probably do 3 additional purchases here, and then I eventually get out here, in about 12 hours. First purchase breaks even, then the other 3 do really well. So obviously the better entry is this one here, early this morning at 6:45, and that break above the 20. I probably make 1 additional purchase and then get out here with a pretty nice gain. So the RTI approach works pretty well on this one. And then on the short side, I don't know if these would have broken above 80. Yeah, it looks like this one just barely did. So that would have been a potential short. And as you can see, it makes a big move down. So that would have been a great short trade. And again, the alert, right click on the RTI, entering a channel for if you're trading both directions, once per bar close. If you're trading just the long approach, crossing up on 20 or 50 or 80, each would require a separate alert, or you can just stick with the 20. I think that's the safest. And if you want to just short it, you go with crossing down at 80. That's how you do that. Any questions on Filecoin as a day trade? Okay. Let's look at some of my favorite sorts for swing trades. And someone asked me today, well, what is a swing trade? I don't have a ideal definition, but for me, it's longer than a day trade and shorter than a hodl. So that can be a couple days, couple weeks, couple months. For me, I'm usually looking for about a 10% move on a chart. So if I'm probably at 5x leverage, I take I'm a little more cautious with my swing trades because, they're on altcoins and they're subject to more violent moves. So yeah, if I get 10% move on a chart at 5x leverage, 50% move in 2 weeks, I'm happy with that. All right, so let's sort long-term sentiment. And you can hover over this question mark to figure out what this is about. It's just a longer period of time. Matches up the last 24 hours, last 20 days. I'm going to match that with the Elder Impulse Daily. And when I see matches there, that's something I'm going to consider using on alert on. We've got one on Solana. Solana has resisted Bitcoin's dip today and gone up anyway. So that one's bullish. ZRX has been back. This is an older project. And Matic. Yesterday I traded Matic and Solana. I tend to trade more volatile coins than those, but they were pumping and moving. So CFX, yeah, not much experience with that one, but we're looking for a, well, let's check out CFX as a swing trade. I'm kind of waffling on that one. Is that on my list? Doesn't look like it. Okay, it's on Kraken. So US people should be able to trade it. It actually has a futures contract on there. Let's just use the Binance chart though. Okay, nice trend up. Okay, it's on the 30-minute. Still in the buy in the red zone on the hour. Okay, when I see something like this that's been pumping lately, I'm going to look at the day chart and the week chart to see if it's got some room to move. We had a high of 45 cents in March of last year. So that would be about an 8% move, give or take. Yeah, unless it goes all the way to that wick, which was 48 cents, that's 16% move. So, price does have memory. It might go back there, but there's some pretty strong resistance, even going back to September of 21. But, 42 cents up to 48 cents, that could work. That could happen in a few days or a couple of weeks at the most. So where do I enter this trade then? I probably go to the 30-minute chart if I wanted to get in sooner. Actually, I would look at which one was the most likely to come up with the buy order next on the super trend. I should discuss my layout. It's a little bit different. So I've got the same support and resistance you've seen for the past several months using the supply and demand visible range by Lux Algo. I got this Trendio LSMA. It's a moving average. So I'm using that for confirmation. So ideally, I would get a buy signal somewhere between these on the super trend, and then have the LSMA for confirmation. So at the moment, we're in a buy on the 1 hour chart. It went up when that buy triggered, pretty decent move, almost 3%, then fell back down again. So what I usually do in this situation is I right click on the super trend, add an alert, and if I'm trading both directions, I'll use the trend, the direction change. But for this, I would use the buy. It's like, why? You're already on the buy. I'll show you why in a moment. And that's just going to go off only once. And then this long-term sentiment buy. And probably go with handbell. I just want to use for my swing trades. Click create. What I wanted to do is dip a little bit, trigger the sell, and then come back again and trigger the buy. And maybe that happens up here. Maybe it happens down here. I'm not really sure. But ordinarily I wouldn't take a day trade this close to the red zone on this time frame. But I'm really using this week long as I'm using a longer period of time for my evaluation for a take profit on a swing trade. So I go to the day or the week in this market, and probably use this. But I'd go between 48 and 54 for my exit on this, and that's how I would set that one up. Any questions on long-term sentiment sort and or CFX? Okay, we'll look for one more. And we had several candidates here. Let's look at Solana. Okay, this is gonna be pretty similar. On the 1 hour, we're already in the red zone. We got a buy going on the super trend. So on the day chart, we're at an all-time high, broke 180. But on the week chart, yeah, I mean, the high for this, I think, is 260. So we've got a ways to go to hit that high. We've got another one here around just under 200. So I think as a swing trade, yeah, I'd be looking for, I'd probably set my sell order at 199, but my entry would be the same as I just showed you on CFX on the 1 hour chart. Take a quick look at the 30. Yeah. Either on the 30 or the 1 hour. Set that alert by long-term sentiment and click create. You're good to go. Obviously, with the 30, you're more likely to get that alert sooner. So I've been using the 30 as my entries more frequently than the 1 hour. That one's pretty simple. Any questions on Solana? Okay, I want to go through one more sort that's not related to Altcoin Alert, and that's my Bybit Binance sort here, because I use this one too, mostly for day trading. I'll sort by the change percentage, and I'll go one that's really been for the negative and one on the positive. And then I look for coins I'm more familiar with how they move. I've been trading Rune and KNC a lot lately. SNX a little bit, OP. Yeah, probably put an alert on one of those. And actually, I would do this as a day trade. So let me get to that one. Yeah, so right now it's sorted by the change positive or change negative. I can also sort by the change positive. Look at KNC. And yeah, this one here broke above, broke above again. Yes, earlier this morning. Probably would have taken a couple ladder buys there and then gotten out here. So that's a pretty good entry on a day trade. Obviously, the last dip and break is the best entry, but we don't know that at the time. So, but this is one I would trade both directions. Add an alert. Entering a channel, 80-20. You know the rest on that. I don't necessarily look for the one that's moving the most because I'm looking for more of this kind of action on day trades. So a big crash or a pump in one direction can be bad if I'm in the wrong direction. And then the next sort you can do is look for the long sort. Ray is kind of low volume. I don't know if I'd mess with that, but AVAX, Solana, really the only ones that are positive today. AVAX has been a really good one to trade. Couple dips below the 20, made nice moves up. This let's see what that would have been. I don't know if that would have triggered or not. This one would have triggered this dip below the 80. Right about here. And yeah, I would have caught that 1.3, 1.5% move and been out on a short. So that break above the 80 and dip would have worked on a short. Would have worked really well up here on this one. And again on this one. And again on this one. So yeah, if you're willing to do it, trading both directions can be profitable. But again, stick with the longs only if you're trading on spot. Learn that first before you make your way over to leverage. Any questions on AVAX or the Bybit Binance list sort approach? And if you want to make sure your list is capitalized when you're done with this analysis, you'll have to click symbol again. All right, well, I think I'll wrap it up here. Any questions about anything I've talked about or any coins you want to look at? All right. Well, if you are watching on the recording, I appreciate that. Hope you see you live next time. Please check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. They help support the channel. And I will see you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye.